Marc Jackson, Comcast Sportsnet pre- and post-game Sixers, who are getting ready to close out the season here in the next 3 weeks. Marc Jackson, well, we got a lot of things to dive into, both with the Sixers, and I want to get some NBA stuff from you as well. How are you, pal?
I'm outstanding, guys. How are you? You're jamming away that good music, huh?
That's right. Crisscross, man. A little ride like the wind to start us off this hour. Hey, first off, before we get into some Sixers stuff here, because, this has been a big topic around the NBA about these guys sitting out, the schedule, the back-to-backs. I'd like to get your opinion on this as a guy who probably has a pretty strong opinion on the way these guys are sitting out these games, and it's been a big topic. The commissioner sends out a memo to the owners. Do you, number one, see it as a problem, and number two, do you think that memo from the commissioner will change anything?
I think the letter should change something because, to be honest with you, it is. They pay a lot of money for the rights to host these games. So for the Sixers and players not to play, it kind of is not a good thing. Not necessarily for the Sixers if you don't have a superstar like that, but if we did, it would be a city like Joel Embiid. Oh, they're tired. We're going to sit them out this game. They pay a lot of money to host these games. And, especially as a former player, I understand guys saying, well, I'm tired, I need rest. But let's back up to where this started. This started with Pop resting his guys, and then guys just took it and ran with it. So now I don't necessarily know if it's the players saying I need rest, but it's the coaches or organizations saying my players need rest. But it started because Coach Pop, who's the greatest coach ever in the history of mankind, he started off, and guys just taking full advantage of it and just riding with it. So, they're going to take advantage of that loophole, but it's not, respectfully, in my opinion, it's not right for the organization to sit these guys knowing that the reason why the salary cap has risen, player salaries has risen, the amount of money that the owners get from TV deals is because these TV partners, which are partners, want to host these games. But if you're going to start sitting out players, the main stars that people are paying to see, then don't be mad if some backlash comes and some of these companies take you to court and saying, y'all give me a watered down product, and I think we deserve entire some money back. That's another way they can come at it.
Hey, Marc, so was it difficult to play back-to-backs?
It is. It is very difficult to play back-to-backs, and it's not necessarily the playing of the games. So say if you got a back-to-back at home, that's a totally different story than playing in Cleveland tonight and then got to play in Philly tomorrow. That's a different animal. But if you got back-to-backs at home, it wasn't that difficult. It's just like you going to play, I don't know, nowadays AAU rule everything. But if you're playing pickup basketball, same things you're playing every day. And it's, of course, it's higher level competition. But, it's a similar situation, but it's the travel. It's the waking up extra early or the waking up early to go to video sessions or to have team breakfast or, no matter, guys might like to sleep in some days or, so it's the travel to incorporate on those back-to-backs. If you was giving teams back-to-backs at home, I don't think it'd be as big of an issue.
Hey, Marc,
I think you have to put the traveling into that.
That's an interesting point. Can you kind of take our listeners through what it's like to travel, like to go on an NBA road trip to be? I think we all just look at it like you guys live the glamorous life. They all make big money. You got the best hotels. You're getting charter flights. It sounds like it's glamour. It's a lot of fun. What is it like to be a player traveling through an 82-game schedule?
Okay, so yeah, those things you said, to be honest, are true. It is a blessed, wonderful life to be able to live the NBA life and do the things that you want to do, and that's play basketball for a living. So don't let me say that's not true. That is very true. That's an accurate statement. It's a blessing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make it sound like it's woe as you guys, though. I'm just trying to get the balance of what a day-to-day, like wake up, you travel, do you need to be here at a certain time, there's practice. When you're on the road, what is that like?
All right, for example, when you're on the road, what a lot of people don't know is you leave right after the game. There's no spending a night at a place, an extra night, because teams don't want to pay that extra night hotel expenditures and stuff like that. But, you play a game. Say if you play, you're playing against Cleveland, for example. You play against Cleveland tonight. You immediately get on the plane. You get on a plane, you land back in Philadelphia. I don't know. You leave Cleveland 12. The flight takes off at 12 something. You get into 2 something. Get to your home, it's 3. Most of the time, say if you're playing in Philly, if you have a back-to-back, you play at home next day. A lot of times you would not have a shoot-around, but if you're at home, you would have to, a lot of times if the game starts at 7, you need to be at the arena dressed on the court shooting around by 5:30. But in this instance, since it's a back-to-back, you would need to be at the arena shoot for video, say at 4:30. So, yes, you get that morning to sleep in, but you got to be in the gym at the stadium around 4:30 for video. Then you go around, shoot around, get ready for the game, and you play. Now, here's the difference. So say if you're playing back-to-backs on the road. Say if you're playing the big one was Los Angeles teams and Sacramento teams. So you play SAC, you leave after the game, you get to Los Angeles, same thing, 2 o'clock in the morning. You get there at 2 o'clock in the morning. You have to wake up for 11:30 to have a video/team brunch, like 11 o'clock. You do that from 11 to 12:30. Then you go back to bed or do whatever you're going to do. Then you have to leave the stadium around 4:30. So that's a normal life of a back-to-back. They're still traveling. And I know a lot of these, most of the teams stay in Ritz-Carltons, but the thing is, after the first month of the season, it's very hard to get a good night's sleep because you on the road 3 nights a week. It's hard to get in these beds, these plush beds, but it is hard when you're traveling. You got the airplane experience. You get in your car as you're driving, or you're catching a bus from the airport to the hotel. It's very difficult to get a good night's sleep after the first month or 2 of the season because the traveling does weigh on you.
Isn't it much better, though, now, Mark, than it was? I mean, at least these fancy hotels have the 7-foot shower head that's hanging from the ceiling, or the plane many times is the team plane. You're not riding with, John and Susie and the regular coach.
That's very true. Of course, yes, man. Anybody you can say that. Anybody can say, "Oh, it's good. Oh, these you guys are charter flight." Yes, but you still got to get on a plane.
Right. No, traveling wears on you anyway.
The risk of traveling, it wears on you.
Yeah.
So don't let people say, "Oh, they on plus planes." That don't make a difference. You are still traveling on an airplane. That still is a headache, and it wears on your body and on your mental state to keep getting off and on planes, playing in a different state almost every night. Or every night of the week, or every other night of the week, so it does wear on you.
There's another thing.
People say, "Oh, they're okay. They playing on a plane." It weighs on you.
No, it does. Whether you're sitting in first class or you're sitting in coach or you're on a charter flight, the travel when you get off that plane, you just don't feel like the same guy. And regardless if you're sleeping in the Motel 6 or you're at the Ritz-Carlton, you're not in your own bed, and it's a different life. But these back-to-backs, we're going to get into Jaleel too, but, we got Ben Simmonds. We talked about his foot. You told us a great story the last time you were on with us, Mark, and obviously Embiid, we'll get into that. But these back-to-backs, these guys, I think it goes hand in hand with a lot of these kids coming into the league early. They've never played back-to-backs in college. They've never played back-to-backs in high school. Now they're traveling all over. They're playing back-to-backs at 19 and 20 years old against the most physical guys in the world. I think a lot of these kids are getting injured because they're just not prepared for this level and all the travel and everything that gets thrown at them. Do you think there's something to be said for these guys who just are breaking down because they're not ready?
If you think about it, majority, and I had this conversation very recently. If you think about the number of athletes now, I would say when I came in the NBA, that was when AAU was just starting to really, not saying it didn't start before then, but at least let me speak for the Philadelphia guys. That's when the AAU guys started leaving the Sunny Hill League, going to play some AAU, things like that. You was getting some extra games under your belt. They say guys from 5 to 10 years before you. So guys, players are playing in an enormous amount of physical games before they're 15 and 16 years old. And respectfully, a lot of children, and this is where a lot of people differ from this, so this is my opinion. When you're playing as many AAU games and then you're playing high school games, you never get a break, which is fine. But you have to prepare your body for the wear and tear. A lot of these kids just play basketball. A lot of these kids don't have a strength and conditioning guy. A lot of these guys don't get rehabilitation for nagging injuries. They just play through it because your mind, your mental state saying play through it. So eventually your body breaks down. And this Ben Simmons thing is a great example of that. You know, Ben played a ton of AAU games. He played for a top 5 high school team in the country because he was on it, of course. So he, you know, maybe his foot is just broke down from the wear and tear of playing all those games, not really having a strength and conditioning program, not going through physical therapy for nagging injuries. Because how many high school programs or AAU programs have a physical therapist on duty, on staff?
Right.
You know what I mean? Think about that. So they're not taking proper care of their bodies, and by the time they get to league, they got more wear and tear than some 10 NBA veterans.
Mark, let's get into the Sixers a little bit. Joel Embiid set for surgery on his meniscus, and then knowing how long Okafor seems to have been hobbled by surgery on his knee, are you then concerned about Embiid moving forward?
Man, I'm once Embiid didn't come back, if I'm the 76ers and the fans, I'm concerned because you know, with his injuries, his foot, first it was his back, then it was his foot. You know, now it's his knee. You know, you just got to start asking yourself, is he going to be able to hold up to the rigors of the NBA? So now they hedge their bets a little bit. So they still got your little Okafor on the bench who had 17 and 7 last year, who since now is getting more minutes, his productivity has been up and down, up and down. But now you got to say to yourself, we might need to keep him around as a backup. You know, and like I told you now, I'm going to go back to what I told you. A lot of people was high. I think you guys, too, were high on Notice Noel. We can't get rid of this guy. And I told you about that, the third center, 1, 2, 3, fourth center they had on a roster that he was going to have a breakout year once the trade was made. And let's look at the big fella coming off the bench now and doing actually playing better than Jahlil Okafor. That's Holmes.
That's Richaun Holmes.
Richaun Holmes.
Good work.
Yeah. Yeah, he has been blessed. I mean, but you gave him the minutes. Once he's got these minutes, he has really, you know, taken over. And I actually wrote a piece about this for our website based on the conversation we had with you that did Richaun Holmes make Nerlens Noel expendable. Now, the big difference is, and I want to get your take on this, offensively, Holmes offers more. But defensively, how does he stack up?
Great question. Here you go. Let me answer that because I've studied these guys like a tablet. So I'll tell you, since they had all these bigs, I started studying, breaking down tape. Listen, Holmes gives you not just a little bit more. He gives you the same activity around the rim offensively and defensively. Now, I've had this now I'm about to get me beat up when I come in town tomorrow. Marshall Harris, you know, Nolan was his boy. He lived a bit. Nolan can't do no wrong. But I told him then, Holmes gives you the similar activity around the rim. He might not equal the amount of block shots, but a round of shots changed or altered in the game, Holmes can give you just as much, maybe not as much, but he can give you quite a bit around the rim and his activity, his shot blocking, him altering things. You know, he can give you that. Offensively, he gives you a ton more. He gives you somebody who's not just an alley-oop guy. Yes, he can do that too, but he can pick and pop. He can even stretch out to the 3 now. I mean, so Holmes gives you a lot. He gives you a lot.
Yeah, he's starting to extend that jumper. You're starting to see him take some threes there. He seems like a guy that the Sixers decided we feel comfortable enough with him taking over that role. But I want to go back to what you said about Embiid, which was you got to start asking whether he can handle the rigors of the NBA, which sounds bizarre. A 7'2", 260-pound man that we're concerned about handling the physical nature of this league. You would think that his physicality would be bothering others, but I guess it's the up and down, running up the court that these guys, you're 6'10", he's 7'2". Your bodies aren't made to run up and down these courts like this.
But you know what's the interesting thing it's a great thing for us as fans and as a 76er organization, but it's a bad thing for Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has a motor. He's not just a clogger. He's not just a guy that runs up and down the court, goes from box to box. He's on a wing. He's guarding guards. He's on a wing, handling the ball, taking guys off the dribble. So let's compare him to somebody. Let's compare him to Roy Hibbert, who is similar in size, not necessarily game. Roy Hibbert's going from box to box. He's going from rim to rim, as we say. He's not expanding his game out to the 3-point line to necessarily guards, perimeter players, or on the perimeter try to break guys down off the dribble from the wing. So Joel Embiid is putting way more energy than, say, a Roy Hibbert would be. You know what I mean? So that's the key example. So his body is made, is big and strong, but it's not necessarily made to be doing what he's doing. Let's talk about his activity on defense. You know, a question was asked, would you consider who would be your top 3 or top 5 two-way players in the game, you have to consider Joel Embiid. He plays just as hard defensively as he does offensively and never takes a play off. So that wears on his body. So his body is more active than an average 7'2", 285-pound player.
Marc Jackson with us, talking Sixers basketball. Don't worry, Marc, we give you credit for being high on Richaun Holmes, being early on that. We give you credit all the time on that.
I included some of your quotes from our interview in my story, giving you the credit.
And when Mike was on vacation, we gave you credit, too.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So Marc Jackson, whose injury are you more concerned about, Embiid or Ben Simmons, a guy whose injury you've had experience with?
I'm more concerned with Joel Embiid's, not just his one injury. Let's not say one injury, gentlemen. He didn't have no foot problems this year. He was able to play minutes, but it's just seeming kind of odd. If you look at his last 2 years of playing basketball, not the 2 years he sat out. He had a problem in his back. Then he had the foot problem. Now he has a knee problem. I mean, gentlemen, we're talking about a basketball player here. He had a back problem, a foot problem, and now a knee problem. I mean, that will worry me.
Yeah.
That will worry me that he has them in these parts of his body. It wasn't like he broke his hand, he fell, or hit the ground. No. He's had 3 different injuries to 3 different parts of his body that's very important to play basketball and to run up and down the court. I will be very concerned. So I'm more concerned with Joel Embiid.
Just to run through a couple of those numbers, Marc, I called him up while you were answering that. He's missed 7 games. He missed 7 games during one season at Kansas with that back and the knee. He first missed, of course, the first 2 NBA seasons due to the 2 separate foot surgeries, and then he misses the last 37 games of this season due to the knee injury. Now we know he'll have surgery on that knee, playing a total of 31 games in his first 3 NBA seasons.
Yeah, and that's part of the people's concern that with this building around 2 guys who have one who has never been in an NBA game, Ben Simmons, and the other who has played 31 games in 3 years, that you got a lot of eggs in those 2 baskets. But how about the third guy, Dario Saric? I know the last time we've talked, you really like him a lot. Can he be the third piece? When you need 3 stars, is Dario on that level? Is he a third guy, or is he somewhere down the list a little bit?
Okay, that's a great question. All right, so first of all your questions are great. So let's talk about Dario Saric. Let's talk about the kid. All right, so you're saying can he be the third piece? When you're building a championship team and you have 2 very good pieces around, then I think Dario can be the third option. He can. I think he's been showing this season, even on a respectfully a bad team, he's been showing that he's very consistent, which is important. So I think, yes, he can be that third option. But here's the question you have to ask yourself. Do you want that third option to be another front court player? We talking about 76ers only. 76 have Joel Embiid, who shows you he's a bona fide superstar. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then you have Ben Simmons, we're hoping can be that superstar, but he's another front court player. So that third guy, you want that third guy. Can that third player be another front court player? That will be a concern for me. That will be a concern as far as building for the future. Do I want to have my top 3 players all front court players? I think for, as we say in the business world, a little, maybe a little diversity there. Breaking up your portfolio a little bit. So I don't know if you will want that. But
well, where do you see
front court player?
Where do you see Ben Simmons? Right? Do you see him as a front court player, a point guard? Where do you see? We only saw him in summer league, but he's 6'10". We see his handle. Where do you see him fitting in today's NBA? Because today's NBA is shooting the 3, and he doesn't do that very well.
Yeah, he's more of as far as offensively. He is more of a distributor, more of a passer. He is more of a get the rebound, go, I'm going to create for everyone else. That's who he is. So, yes, you would consider him a point guard offensively. But then you got to think about who he's going to guard. Can he guard NBA point guards? I don't think so. He might could do it every now and then, plays and switch. But him guarding, he locking up, okay, Russell Westbrook's your guy all 48 minutes. No, that's not going to happen. He's similar. His body is he has a great physique on him. He's about 235, 6'10". Him running up and down the court, guarding guards would just do nothing but put him more in peril as far as asking for more injuries to come. I think he is a 4, or I think best case scenario a 3. I don't think you can put him as a backcourt player. I think he's a 3 that needs maybe another big or a Dario Saric who can shoot the 3. Have him around him, but then he has to be out there with 2 more guards, legitimate guards, smaller players that can guard 2 backcourt players consistently night in and night out.
Marc, on Saric, what do you want to see him improve on next season?
I would like to see. I think it would help a lot if he can guard perimeter players from 3 men. I think it would help answer a lot of concerns if we seen him. Not necessarily, and it's not about necessarily what position are you offense. It's about what positions, how many positions can you guard. So I think he can guard a 4 guy. I would love to see if he can guard a 3 night in and night out. If he can do that, then that helps alleviate some concerns with Ben Simmons. Because if Ben can guard 4s and Dario can guard 3s, then that's a match made in heaven. Because then you have 2 versatile guys who can switch on the 3-4s and guard them both night in and night out consistently, and you don't have no fear you're going to get burnt at that position, then I think that's so that's what I would like to see. I would like to see Dario Saric guarding, showing that he can guard a 3-man consistently, maybe even an entire game.
Last one for Marc Jackson here. What do you think of Justin Anderson so far?
Justin Anderson is a serviceable player. He's an energy type guy. Can he be a rotation guy? To be honest, I watched every game of his since they brought him to the Sixers. He's very left-hand dominant. And I know people saying, oh, well, that's okay if you can't stop the left hand. Yeah, I think it's okay, but I think you got to be able to use your right too, and as a perimeter guy, which he definitely is, I really believe that he has to show that he can handle the ball with both hands. I'll be concerned if he can shoot the perimeter shot as good as need to be to play with Joel Embiid,
right.
Ben Simmons, and Dario. I'll be concerned if he can shoot it, and can he handle the ball good enough to make plays? Now, when you got Ben Simmons in there, you're saying, oh, you don't need to make plays. Yeah, that's true, but as a guard, as a 1 or 2 man, or if you're labeled a 1 or 2 guy, or 3, you still got to be able to make a play off the dribble. Because if you're not a knockdown shooter, you got to be able to handle the ball, to get to the rim, to force a double team, to find somebody open. And I'm curious, can he do that with either hand? I know he can dribble with the left hand. Even with him going left, I haven't seen him really create for other people. He's been the main recipient of plays, slashing to the rim, hustle plays, rebounds. So his energy is there. His defensive prowess is there. But I wonder, in a system when you're building for the future, when you need, can he be in the top 8 of your rotation? I'm still scratching my head on that. He might be able to serve as a 9th or 10th man in the rotation, but can he be serviceable as a top 8 guy, or not as a starter, one of those first 3 off the bench? I don't know if I'm sold on that yet.
All right, Marc Jackson here. Of course, Sixers pre and post game. They got about 10 games left.
Yep.
We'll see what they bring to the table, but should be a very interesting offseason. Marc, we'll catch up again next week. Always learn something. Always have a lot of fun.
And I hope you packed a razor to give to Marshall.
Oh yeah, Marshall waiting for me at the airport.
All right, pal. Take care.
Have a great day, guys.